Hey, welcome to the BOSHiverse channel. My name is Chris and today I want to talk about two new things in the BOSHiverse, or Cloud Foundryverse rather. The first one is the new Ubuntu stem cell, Ubuntu Xenial, and the other one is Concourse 4. So let's get right to it. As you might have seen on the BOSH.io website when you were searching for stem cells, we now have an Ubuntu Xenial stem cell table here. The current version is 97.3. I did try this stem cell before, back when it was, I think, version 87, and I couldn't get it to work on vSphere, and I tried version 97 and it works fine. But it has taken a long time for this stem cell to come out. This Xenial is Ubuntu 16.04, and as you might know, Ubuntu 18.04 is already out, so that's the new long-term support version. So yeah, what's up with that, BOSH team? Took a long time. Hopefully the next long-term support stem cell will be done earlier than that. So yeah, I do get that you want a stable stem cells because there's so much built against those stem cells. You really want it to be stable. You don't want a new version of the OS like every week. I mean, patches every week are fine, but complete new version of the OS every week, that would be really nasty. But once a year wouldn't hurt, I think. So yeah, hopefully the next long-term support versions will come out as a stem cell quicker than the Xenial stem cell did. So the other big thing this week was the new Concourse version. So if we take a look at the Concourse website, you'll see there is 4.0 out now, and these are the release notes. So the big change in this is the authentication. So users are now central in the authentication. They also changed the way they connect to other authentication providers. So they're now using CoreOS DEX, which has a lot of connectors already. So now it should be a lot easier to connect Concourse to other authentication providers. So this change in authentication mechanism might make it hard to migrate existing Concourse instances to 4.0. But for the single VM instance we did as a demo for the tutorial series, it should be really easy. So what I want to show you today is how we can upload the new stem cell, which should be very familiar to you already. And I also want to show how we can update our Concourse instance we created during the tutorial to version 4. So let's start with the stem cell. Let's go ahead and download the stem cell from the BOSH.io website. So I'll just copy the link here, the full stem cell link, and then open a command prompt. And this should be familiar to you if you've been following along in the BOSH tutorial series. Upload stem cell, I'll just paste in the stem cell URL here. And that will be uploaded. So while that's uploading, I want to take a look at the new Concourse deployment manifest I created. So I'll put them side by side on the screen here. On the left side we have the old version, on the right side we have the new version. So obviously I changed all the links and version numbers to the releases. So most importantly, the Concourse release, it's now 4.0.0 instead of 3.14.1. Also upgraded the Run C release, and there also happened to be a new Postgres release. So that's bumped to version 29 now. Then for the next change we need to scroll all the way down. We're using stem cell Ubuntu Trusty here. And in the new version we're using OS version Ubuntu Xenial in the latest version, and also changed the alias to Xenial. So since we changed the alias, I also needed to go back to the instance group because it says Trusty over here. So in the new version it will be Xenial, obviously. So the next change was getting rid of this basic auth stuff. And instead I used this add local users. It was already here in the previous manifest because this came from the example manifest that was already on GitHub, and it happened to already include some stuff for the newer Concourse version. So we didn't really need this part for Concourse 3, we really do need it for Concourse 4. So I create a local user called admin, and I'll use admin password. So it's an auto-generated password for us. So it's basically the same password as the basic alt password we had before. And I think that's all changes I made. There's one other thing that's specific for version 4, is this main theme alt, which also happened to be in version 3 manifest as well. So I kept it in here, main team, alt allow all users through. So this means all users defined here, all these local users, will be able to log into the main team, which is not very secure in a production environment, but for this demo, I think that's fine. So those are all the changes. Let's go back to the stem cell upload, and that's done. So we should now be able to upgrade this Concourse instance. Let's start the upgrade. Push the E. Tutorial is our host. Then we'll operate on the Concourse deployment. Oh, actually, before I do that, Concourse. I'll show you the versions currently in use. So that's 3.14.1, 1.15.1, Postgres 28. That's it basically. All right, so let's do the upgrade. Let's run a deploy with the new Concourse.yaml manifest. Load the vars from vars.yaml and load the credentials from, no, it's a vars store. creds.yaml. There we go. We'll download the release and we'll do the upgrade. So I'll come back when this is finished. Right, downloading is finished. Let's start the actual upgrade. Now, one word of warning when you're upgrading stem cells from Trusty to Xenial. If you're upgrading instances with persistent disks, you might not be able to go back to Trusty. So if you upgrade a deployment and it turns out it doesn't work and you want to go back to the Trusty version, you might not be able to read the persistent disk anymore. So be careful with that. Only upgrade to Xenial when it's tested, basically. So test it yourself or wait for the release author to test it for you. So Concourse 4 specifically switched to Xenial, so it's safe to do so. One other word of warning, already said that upgrading Concourse 4 might be difficult when you're using other authentication mechanisms. So yeah, be careful with that as well. I happened to test this this week on a test environment at a customer, and they are running, they're authenticating against UAA for all the teams. Didn't work after upgrade. So actually the whole upgrade just went wrong in the test environment. So I have to dig into that, and maybe I'll come back to that later when I figured out how to actually do the upgrade. So yeah, if you're using basic authentication, you might even run into trouble when you're using the same usernames for different teams. Upgrade wouldn't be able to handle that. So yeah, please test the upgrade in a test environment first before you run a Concourse 4 upgrade in production. Although if you break Concourse in production, it's not that big of a deal. You can just recreate the teams and just reload your pipelines. Because pipelines are all in YAML, so in source control. So you'd just be able to reload it. It would just be a major inconvenience for all your users. Right, it's finally done. So let's check out the versions currently in use. Let's ask BOSH. All right, Concourse 4.0. So, seems it worked. Run C116 and Postgres 29. So let's go over to the Concourse GUI. Click login. Login as admin, and let me grab the admin password from the creds.yaml. Roll up. Copy that. Paste it in. Login. And as you can see right away, the home screen is changed. So we now have a dashboard on the home screen instead of a random pipeline. So I just have one pipeline in this Concourse, but this is a tile, and if you have more pipelines, you'll see a lot of tiles with all the different pipelines. And you can pause and play them from here, and you can click them to drill into the pipeline view. So that's the most visible change in the new Concourse. There's also some other stuff. I'm not going to go through it all. Just check out the release notes. It's all in there. And that's quite a lot. So if you're going to upgrade, if you're interested in a new Concourse version, please check out the release notes before you upgrade. Check out the new features, check out the fixes, and check out the warnings before you do the upgrade. Alright, that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you like all this BOSH related content, please click that subscribe button. If you have any questions, leave a comment or find me on Twitter. I'll see you next time. Bye.